Kids, this is my vlog for June the 4th, 2012, and how are you? Another span of time has passed since we've last spoken. So today's vlog is going to be multi-dimensional like most of my vlogs. I don't stick to one particular topic, but I kind of just catch up on what's going on in my life in general. And some people enjoy it and some people don't. And if you don't, And if you do, sit down, have a cocktail or a drink, get some popcorn, enjoy. I noticed something. Now, a couple of times I've actually escaped the surly bonds of my house with assistance and had the pleasure of going out to Walmart. And you know how much I enjoy seeing my lesbian ghosts at Walmart. And the other day, one threw a bottle of suntan lotion onto the ground behind me and scared the crap out of about 3 or 4 people, which I thoroughly enjoyed because I hadn't seen them in so long and they missed me, which is nice. So that was kind of neat. The other thing is, when I go out, normally I wear snarky t-shirts. That's kind of like my thing, blue jeans and snarky t-shirts. But I do have special occasion SpongeBob shirts, usually when like I graduate from something like massage school, truck driving school, esthetician school, or any of the CNA school, or anything else I've done in my life. I have this particular one that I like to wear as a celebratory shirt. And the other day, I wore it out to Walmart. Now, I noticed something. Whenever I wear any of my SpongeBob shirts out, little kids and even not so little kids always point at me. And the SpongeBob, look, 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 SpongeBob. And then I get this creepy look from their parents like I'm some sort of child molester, which is just the last thing on earth that I would ever think of. But it's always interesting. Now, when I wear my snarky t-shirts, I always get the parents stopping and giving me a high five or, oh, I love that, or where did you get that shirt, or whatever comments. And then the kids point at me and say, ew, what's wrong with him? Because I have moderate to severe psoriasis, and it attacks me in many places, basically from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. So at some point it's always very obvious, unless I was covered in a burqa, at some point you notice that I had psoriasis somewhere, because it is literally from the top of my head. It's on my face, it's on my elbows, it's everywhere to the bottom of my feet, and it's frighteningly ugly. Now, the other day, when one of these children pointed out this flaw of nature in me that I inherited from God knows who, one of the parents stopped and looked and kind of took a step back and said, ooh, what is that? I said, it's a highly contagious disease. I'd keep your kids away and stand, because if you get any of this on you, you're all going to be toast. It's just like, it's one of those infections that just eats you alive. And then I went and showed them my gnarled fingers and then all the icky spots all over my body that were appropriate for Walmart, and scared the piss out of them. So, who can, if you're going to treat me like some kind of monster freak sideshow act, I will happily help you out there. Another thing is, I had some hallucinations the other day that were so vivid. Now, I've been talking about how I've been seeing things for years, but I knew the difference between a vision and a reality. And what's been going on for the last 7, almost 8 months is 7 months, I think now. I can't tell the difference anymore, and the visions are getting much more vivid. I mean, it used to be that like I would see somebody's dead relative that I was working on, or someone would come, some dead person would come and visit me in my office and tell me about somebody I may or may not know and want me to send a message, or um, just stand in the corner or whatever, or just to be seen. Now I see all kinds of things, and a lot of it very vivid and very startling. For example, I spoke early on an earlier vlog about this person that just kind of came up out of the grass and rushed at me, screaming like crazy, and then vanished at my driveway, like right before it got to me. I felt things jumping, rushing me from behind. I see things that don't happen. For example, I was at my doctor's office the other day, and the door opened and closed on its own, and 3 solid gelatin-like balls, purple balls, came floating through the room. And I said, "Are you seeing this?" I said, "Did you see the door open and close and these purple balls float in?" And the doctor said, "No." I said, "Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was the only one seeing this." But at times, it makes it very challenging because I can't tell the difference between reality and a vision anymore. Because, like, if I see a balloon, for example, floating down the street, I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if it's a vision or if it's actually floating. There's just a balloon floating down the street haphazardly. And then there's noises and all these other kinds of things, moans and people, talking to me, or screams or clicks, or I know I was afflicted terribly with the sound of way back in the fall, with the sound of a windmill, like an old windmill from like maybe the desert or something in some ghost town, and it was very squeaky and rusty, just squeaking in the wind. It was just the most insane, annoying noise, and it went on for about 48 hours straight, enough to make it as nuts as I am, apparently. And for no apparent reason. It didn't start for an apparent reason, it didn't end for an apparent reason. And as I've gone through my progression of medicines and stuff, I've also seen a progression of different kinds of manifestations. For example, like about a month and a half ago, I was having blackouts, where I'd actually be sleepwalking and totally unaware of where I was, and then I'd fall down. I fell in my turtle pond, I fell in my hallway, I fell into my closet doors, broke one. I fell out of bed on my knees and hit my chin on the table. I mean, and it's still healing, because diabetics don't heal very quickly. And when I fell in the hallway, I injured my ribs, and it's still sore. So, and there was no explanation. It just happened, and it kept happening for like a 2-week span, and then it stopped. And then after that, I've been going through periods where you see me now more active, where I get like these like spots of creativity again, almost like my old self, and then followed by days of just morbid exhaustion and depression. Like, for example, today I slept, I woke up this morning and I had breakfast and I went right back to bed, and I spent the majority of the day in bed. And then I had to wake up, and life goes on. But yeah, it's really weird. It's kind of like this like roller coaster. It's almost like what people describe bipolar disorder as, or something. I don't know. But having spent most of my adult life without medication and always in control. Having now been on medication and having no control is still something really hard for me to wrap my hands around. I'm not used to being not totally in control of myself. I can't pray it away. I can't Reiki it away. I can't do any of the skills that I've learned, breathe it away or anything else. It just seems to happen, and the mood swings seem to happen, and the energy levels seem to swing and everything else, and it just seems like this. And I'm trying to learn to cope without panicking, because none of this has killed me. It just has made me so entirely stupid and ridiculous, and literally I can't tell what is real and what's not. And I write down notes because I forget things. And I mean, I can forget something because all of a sudden now, the only time I can concentrate is when I'm actually feeling or visualizing something in my head. If I can't feel it or visualize it, it goes right out the door. Especially my short-term and some of my mid-term memory. Now, my longer-term memory still seems to be intact to a point, but not as sharp as it used to be, because I used to have a mind like a vault, much to the chagrin of my close friends, who I could usually vomit up details that were delicious at times socially. But that's where I'm at right now. And I appreciate everybody's tuning in and watching, and hopefully you're learning, or maybe you're in the same situation, or you know somebody that is. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick tonight is this. A lot of people remember me in certain ways. Me, the boss, me this, me that, me that. But I've always been really in control of myself. That is the one aspect of Michael that has seemed to be the most consistent. And having had no control for a while, I know a lot of the people that are closest to me are just free. They either A, refuse to believe it, or B, they don't want to see it or understand it or hear about it because it upsets them so much that I am that out of control. And I'm working on my coping mechanisms, and I hope one day that I'll be able to cope with this. But in the meantime, I'm just along for the ride. And that's pretty much all it is. It's just a ride. And while sometimes it can be very startling and unsettling, I really don't have any fear or doubt about it. I just experience it. I mean, I've seen ghosts, I've seen spirits, I've seen every type of religion manifest itself in the physical form for years now. And never once have I been killed by any of these things. So I really don't get scared. I don't have any fear. It's just that I don't know what's real and what's not. And that gets that's just disturbing sometimes. I mean, it's not scary. It's just like, is this real? Is this not real? What am I seeing? Why am I seeing this? Am I getting a message? Am I not getting a message? If I'm really not seeing this, then why am I seeing this? And some of it is just nonsensical. So that's what's going on with me. It's pretty basic stuff. And although I am getting a lot of rest, I really could, and unfortunately the medicine in summertime, it's hot as hell here in Florida. June is always the worst month because it's the least rain and the hottest part of the year, because it doesn't rain in the afternoon every day. But being so photosensitive, I'm so white, I'm blue. It's repulsive. Except for, of course, you can see the psoriasis spots, which are nice and red, and they turn white and flaky, and it's nasty and gross. So anyway, that's it, kids. Next time you see somebody with psoriasis, don't point. And hopefully, if you do point or you ask a question about it, hopefully there won't be a smart aleck as I am about answering it and scare the piss out of you. That'll teach you for talking about my faults. Anyhow, talk to you later. Bye.